Now, ladies and gentlemen, late yesterday afternoon, Valve returned yet again with another CS2 update. Yesterday, July 2nd, CS devs sent out a small patch for maps regarding quality of life improvements, but for the most part, it was just minor to medium-sized bug fixes. With that being said, it seems like Valve is still on a streak from the update stemming from the MVP update just last week. And most likely, whether you like it or not, it's going to remain this way for the coming weeks until all these community maps are fixed and bugs with networking in the game are gone, or at least close to it. With little to no communication with the devs, players have begun asking what's next for Counter-Strike. Is Valve's plan to keep the same pace they've had for this last year for Counter-Strike 2? Today's video, we're going to break down last night's blog post, showcase changes, and discuss what Valve's plans are with updates in the future, alongside some new CS2 news. Now, today's video sponsor is Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is a buying, but most notably trading marketplace, that being for your CS2 items. You can trade off your old skins for something new. All you do is log in with Steam, you start a trade, and any cash remaining goes to your available balance on the site. When it comes to trading an item you don't have enough balance for on the site, Skins Monkey has a large variety of deposit options. By using my code MANDO, you can get up to a free $5, and by depositing alongside using my code, you get an additional 35% of a deposit bonus. With Skins Monkey's large variety of skins, they also offer daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways. If interested, the link will be in the top of the description down below. Now, firstly for today's video is last night's blog post. For the most part, it came out of the blue, where DPR updates were posted and then went live during Steam's weekly maintenance, that being on Tuesday last night. Now let's quickly hop into last night's patch notes from July 2nd. Now, there's only one category, that being for maps, and two different maps are featured in last night's update, that being Pool Day and Dust 2. Now for Pool Day, it's like every other community map update. Valve updated the latest version of the community workshop and has a link where you can find it here. Pool Day has three different categories, that being bug fixes, gameplay, and art. Now for the first category, that being bug fixes, Pool Day devs fixed a bug where inflatables were having their physics getting out of control when their deflated ragdoll touched the bottom of the pool. They fixed a bug where players could not jump into the hot tub. They fixed some missing textures and misplaced objects. And they also fixed a couple of objects from the 1.6 version when they were rendered in the sky. And for those who don't know, this is actually an Easter egg on the Pool Day map, which is actually very cool. Probably one of the coolest features I've ever seen in a community map, let alone a CS map in general. And for the last and final category, today's blog post is for Dust 2, where it has two different points. The first point is arguably one of the most important of this entire update. Valve fixed a hole in the brick stack on B bomb site. Now, it was a meme that Valve just fixed a brick, and on the B bomb site, there's a whole lot of them. But it came to my attention from some posts on Reddit, some posts on Twitter, and comments on my channel that there was a little hole on the brick stack on that little tall stack near window, but also looking at door. Apparently, you could use this by looking through the hole to see door, and the enemy obviously wouldn't be able to see or know that you're there. It was kind of a one-way hole, and for how long it was in the game, I don't know either. I'm assuming this was only discovered a couple of weeks ago, but this is obviously pretty game-breaking, and props to Valve for fixing it so soon. And the last point of today's blog post is Valve fixed a bug for preventing custom sounds from being played in community maps, which this obviously does help a lot of the new maps that were added in this recent MVP update just last week, which then that concludes last night's blog post. Now quickly, I want to head back to our point early on in the video of Valve not normally releasing a blog post this small. Now in the past, it has happened. I think for the most part, it's sometimes for the memes, but also for the track record. So we know what was fixed, we know what was not, and we know what Valve needs to fix in the future if we come into a problem that was similar to that. In today's case, it's most likely for the weeks to come. I believe it's most likely our recent point of keeping a track record, but mainly for community maps. As it goes for what's going on behind the scenes, we're not 100% sure. Last night, I don't believe there was any shadow updates with VAC. There was not really any other DPR updates since this update really just came out of the blue. Now, stepping aside from last night's update is answering the question of what Valve's next plan is. Well, we all know the MVP update is the 25th anniversary in the community's eyes, but not Valve. And not to state the obvious, but the majority of that content wasn't even from Valve, it was from the community, which leads to the question for many of what Valve is actually doing, specifically the CS2 devs. And I guess some subcategory questions for that big question is how many devs are actually working on Counter-Strike 2 at the moment? At the moment, it's not clear, but if I had to guess based off of how devs work, I believe devs are splitting their work on upcoming new titles and other things inside CS2. One thing to note is just a couple months ago, Valve released Overwatch, and that was about it. How you can access it, I'm not 100% sure. Most people haven't been able to. It was just added in the patch notes, most likely for the devs to come at it at a later date. For the players in the community and in my comments wanting an operation, but I want to give my theory on where Danger Zone is and how this could give us a really good schedule of where the next operation is. If you look at the past three operations, starting in Shattered Web, Broken Fang, and then Riptide, going back to Shattered Web in 2019, Danger Zone at this point was only 1 year old. And in years prior for operations, Danger Zone obviously wasn't incorporated very heavily, if not at all, because it wasn't released into those operations. But going forward after 2019 with Operation Shattered Web, some weeks, half of the missions were to do with Danger Zone. It was to get players hyped and play a different mode, make it refreshing and not just playing competitive over and over and over again, or a new mode they add. I believe in my theory that Valve is going to release Danger Zone long before the next operation, because I believe if Valve were to release an operation and Danger Zone at the same time, with the amount of bugs Danger Zone would have, how many people want to complete all the missions, the amount of bugs in Danger Zone would just outweigh the fun for the operation. And because we know Danger Zone 2 is on its way, Valve is working on it, so they're most likely going to want to release it at some point. It's also a bunch of free content for the devs that they can just add to the battle pass for you to grind missions. For missions necessarily they don't have to create, like co-op missions. As much as we want them, it's less work for Valve in the end if they're going to do this anyway. So I believe Valve is going to release Danger Zone, work out all the bugs and kinks, and then at a later date release an operation, and then incorporate Danger Zone into the operation. But that's just my theory. Let me know what you guys think down below. Now, other content that's very unknown is Train? Is it close to completion? Is it near release? Is this map ever coming? Are some recent comments and questions from the community. Now, a recent post from Thor CS makes me extremely interested to investigate it further, but it's very hard to tell for the time being. Thor CS mentioned that this map was just supposed to be a remaster like all the other maps for CS2 and most likely release with it. But with how long Valve has waited for such a simple map that looked to be near done in the trailers over a year ago, he mentioned a point that it could be entirely redesigned, which I'm not sure. Could Valve use this when player numbers drop after a few months after no content coming? Could they use that as an incentive for players to come back? Maybe with an operation or not, I don't know. At the end of the day, right now, I just don't think Valve is going to release a new map, especially Train or a large content update anytime soon. And for those wondering why that wouldn't happen, as well, we just got the MVP update with 5 brand new maps. And lastly, for some memes, but also CS2 news, are new leaks for supposed emotes that could make their way to Counter-Strike 2 soon. Question is, will this see the light of day inside CS2, and how will this make players feel? With that all being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Are you guys still experiencing subtick and networking errors inside Counter-Strike 2? And what do you hope to see with the next major update next month? I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay positive, sexy. I'm out, guys. Peace.